Hi everybody, I'm beginning to put the Patchwork Spools box of threads top together, and I thought it was the way the blocks are matching up, they need to match seams, but the way this block is, there's a few extra steps I took to make sure the seams were matched. And then that with my perpendicular pinning turned out, look how beautiful these all match. They're just, oh, there. Look, it all just turned out so easily beautiful. Like I didn't have to rip anything out. It's just, look at that. All just so perfectly together that I thought I'd share how I did it with you in a video. So that's what this is. I thought I'd take a couple minutes to show you. Oops. Let's put it there so I remember where I have to keep on camera. Okay, so I've got a couple more blocks for the bottom row that I haven't put together yet. This is the blue one and the purple one, and they're gonna go together, and I'm hoping I can get this all on camera. Okay. Hold on a sec. All right, I'm back. All right, so they're gonna go side by side, so I'm flipping it over. And what I do is with these thicker flower head pins, I use them as my placeholders. They just, I went in where this seam is through, and then it needs to, that would be exactly in the same, should be the same width from the edge. It isn't always with sewing. There's always this thread's worth or something. So that's why this pinning technique, it removes all of that and then allows you to do an average that turns out good. So then I put a second one on the other side. And then I went back to the first side, and I also put that, matched those two up with a pin. And I matched the diagonal corners with a pin. And then I do the same on the other side. I'm using my little egg cup, which is allowing me to grab these things really easily. Now, you can see at the moment, those two aren't well lined up, but if I nudge that up a bit, I can get them to line up exact. Okay. Now, technically, all I would need to do is hold my fingers, hold the pin straight up and down, and then put a pin in each side of the seams at an angle. That's the perpendicular pinning, and I'll the video suggested that comes up after this one, I'll suggest that video so you can watch it if you haven't seen this method of that I use. But I'm got a few extra steps I'm going to take here, and I promise you that is why my blocks went together so beautifully. On the side here, this has nothing to do with the seam I'm about to sew. That is the seam I'm about to sew, right? Yes. No, wait a sec. Did I do the wrong one? I did too. See that? I did the wrong one. it's this seam that had to be done. Okay, so, well, those are done. No, this one should be this here. Okay, I'm starting over again. There, it's always good to double check that you're sewing the right seams. Okay, now we're gonna start over in this corner. I knew something looked wrong. I was like, should I be working on that light brown? Okay, glad I double checked. Actually, when I go to stitch the rows together, then I will do that exact same thing on the light brown. But for now, I'm just sewing the blocks together. Okay, so that's the seam I'm needing to do. Now this has nothing to do with that, except I would really like it to be aligned as well. So I'm aligning it, and then I'm just going to put a pin in it just to hold it. That's where it stays. And on the other side, I do the same. Okay, now I will do some of the pinning. So I'm holding this pin straight up and down between my fingers, and this one I'm trying to keep pretty good up and down, and same with this one with my little pinky. Now these two don't have to be exact as long as they're basically straight up and down. This is the important one, and then as soon as I know it's straight up and down, I pinch it with my thumb and my fingers. And with the smaller, thinner pins that I've talked about that don't distort the fabric as much as a thicker pin, I go in at an angle and then come through, and I pin one on each side of the center larger pin, on one on each seam. And then also again making sure that's straight up and down, and then once I know it is, I pinch it to hold it. And again, with one pin, I go in at an angle and come up, and I hold the seam allowances down so that they don't get pulled up or anything like that. And then I repeat over here on this side. Now, that technically probably would be enough, but because this is a long piece here that has nothing anchoring it and it could move, and I also have the marks or the seams where the patchwork started, I even took the step of going in after the corners were done and aligned these patchwork seams. Sorry, it's dark here. Oh, there it is. There. Now, I don't need to put pins here that I'll have to sew over, that's unnecessary. But what I am doing to just make sure the fabric stays where I want it to, because can you see that one is just that little bit higher up? So if I had matched these two edges, that would have thrown it off just by that tiny bit. but the tiny bits add up when you're sewing many seams together. So what I did instead is holding the pin up and down with my fingers. I just pinned here, put a pin here, and put a pin in the middle, just to make sure that this stays where it is at the moment with these anchor pins in. Then I take those out and I'm ready to sew. And I put this in my machine. I do the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I promise you, that is all I did to get this beautiful matching up of these blocks. I was quite impressed with how, by taking that extra step, I'm not once did I feel the need that I had to seam rip anything. So I hope this trick helps you in all your seam matching quilting adventures. There. Thanks for watching.